A very wonderful and a pleasant day to you, our viewers, and I welcome you once again to this newspaper review segment on First Next News. I am Kings Ojalo. I will be putting you through all our newspaper headlines, top stories, and interesting stories on all newspaper platforms within the country and outside. Sit back, relax while I put you through. Let's start with the Daily Monitor. On the Daily Monitor, we have a good and interesting highlighted stories. Fagbemi felt article on resolution of OPL 245 block disputes. Fagbemi filed article on resolution of OPL 245 block dispute. We also have 1999 Constitution favors North on determines Nigeria stability. That is coming from Okoromu. Now we also have court felt el-rufai ₦1 billion right suit against ICPC IGP orders. You find that in page 4 of the Daily Monitor. Bandits demand ₦1 billion to free 8 adopted Kwarra worshippers. Very interesting story there and a terrible one. You find that in page 2 of the Daily Monitor. We also have Kwarra's harps on unified approach to tackle insecurity threats. You find that in page 4. 2027 ADC will make decision on zoning at the right time, says spokesman. You find that in page 2 as well. Now on the bottom of the Daily Monitor, we have crisis. PDP explored lasting resolution coming from the Turaki subgroup. Now let's go straight to the First Daily. On the First Daily, highlighted stories such as Turaki PDP factions finding common ground to resolve crisis. That is a top story on the First Daily News. Now the highlighted stories. Dangote refinery warns of crude supply shortage amid fuel crisis. Rising demand pressure supplies chain threatens fuel stability nationwide. Now on the bottom, government ambush security forces in Kebbi kill soldiers and civilians. A terrible one in Kebbi State. We also have troop arrest 18 Boko Haram's logistics suppliers in Borno. Now we also have court clears Sowore orders release of passport after charge drops. Now let's go straight to the Blueprint newspaper. Few brief stories on the Blueprint newspaper. Now gas through, which we have 2 suspects in court over murder of 19-year-old varsity student Zobidiat. A very sad one there. You find that in page 13 of the Blueprint newspaper. We have at APC zonal congresses of concession, government vows Tinubu's re-election. Akpabio orbits Giadom Kekemoke returns zonal chairman. Makinde Wike PDP camps resume reconciliation talks. And we hope the PDP will stand their ground once more. Ahmed anguish. Iran receive US 15-point plan to end Middle East war. Pakistan third as likely mediator. Malaysia backs Iran. You find that in page 10 of the Blueprint newspaper. Now going straight to the Matrix newspaper. On the Matrix, we have highlighted stories such as capital importation surged to $6.44 billion in Q4 2025 NBS. We also have another highlighted story. CBN lifts cash pooling requirements on IOCs. Approve 100% repatriation of export proceeds. We also have Middle East war to continue as Iran rejects troops peace deal. You find that in page 2 of the Matrix newspaper. Now on the bottom we have Wike dismisses PDP crisis, confirm convention dates. You find that in page 9. We hope it gets better for the PDP anytime soon. Now to sports. Court arbitration confirms Senegal appeal after AFCON forfeiture. Find that in page 25. If you want to get more of that story concerning Senegal's appeal, go get your Matrix newspaper. We also have on the top Ojolari NNPC Limited Dangote refinery parts stability Nigeria fuel supply chain. Now going straight to the Daily Independence. On the Daily Independence, we have interesting stories and highlighted stories. Nigeria oil output hit 11-month low. Dispute reforms raises fresh concern over 2026 budget expectations. Now on the top we have life insurance may face staff cut amid recapitalization push. Article criticism of OPL 245 deal unpatriotic, self-serving. That is coming from Fagbemi. Now we also have on the bottom, PDP crisis. Turaki Wike camp begin high tax reconciliation moves. Now in page 6, ADC will build a safer Nigeria, David Mark assures. Still on page 6, court files el-rufai $1 billion rights suit against ICPC IGP orders. Now in page 7, civil servants give federal government 7 days over 70,000 wage allowance. Now still on page 7, capital importation hit $6.44 billion in Q4 2025, up 26.6% YOY. Now going straight to the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, we have highlighted stories such as concerns as concessions plot robs parties of internal democracy. You find that in page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian newspaper, we have NBA Showore Bakers over abuse of courtroom adequates. You find that in page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. 50% of executed projects vandalized, abandoned, NDDC laments. You find that in page 7 of that newspaper platform. $6 billion CapEx gap may stall higher oil output push crude delivery to Dangote. You find that in page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian, PDP leaders open to peace path, assures Nigeria of 2027 readiness. You find that in page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian, ADC crisis decrease rising insecurity seeks better country. You find that in page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. Now still on that, cleric decrease terrorist attack in churches of worshipper. You find that in page 29 of the Guardian. Now going straight to the leadership. On the leadership, 4 days to Abuja convention. Wike insists no faction in PDP. Turaki says reconciliation in progress. Wow, a very good news from the PDP. You find that in page 4 of the leadership newspaper. Now we also have on the leadership, police charge 2 with murder of 19-year-old student Zubadiat Isa. You find that in page 6. A very sad one there. Court nullifies Union Bank board dissolution. You find that in page 21 of that newspaper platform. Parents, prospective corps members form as NYSC mobilization backlog worsen. You find that in page 4. Kano women give birth to 5 babies. Wow, a huge congratulations there, which is in page 7 of that newspaper platform. Now on the top we have adopters of Kwarra church worshippers demand 1 billion naira ransom. That is a huge one. Court affirm final forfeiture of $13 billion traced to Aisha Achimogu fame. Find that in page 19 of that newspaper. Very interesting stories which you will find on the Daily Leadership. So go grab your copy of the Daily Leadership. Now let's go straight to the Daily Trust. Now on the Daily Trust, we have many fell dead as pit collapsed in Kano. Wow, a sad story there. Many fell dead as pit collapsed in Kano. Now the highlighted stories. 11 soldiers, police officer killed in Kebbi ambush. Yes, that has been the trendy stories within the country for quite some time now. Now still on the top, the truth about OPL 245 by Anthony General. Now still on that, misinformation distraught, discouraging youth from voting, Amapiton says. Now the bottom line, 2027, Congress is clear cost for Tinubu. You find that in page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Still on the Daily Trust at the bottom, 3 killed as violence erupts in Nasarawa community. A sad one there again in page 3 as well. Court orders final forfeiture of $13 million linked to Achimogu's fame. Now still on that newspaper, you have after 8 children, woman gives birth to quadruplets. A good congratulations to her. You find that in page 6 of that newspaper platform. Now let's go straight to the Vanguard newspaper. On the Vanguard, we have interesting and highlighted story. 2027, Makinde, Wike camps move to save PDP. I think this is a good news from the PDP, and it has been trending ever since. Now still on that, we have 2027, all 6 geopolitical zones rally behind Tinubu as APC hosts Congress. Find that in page 5 of that newspaper platform. Now on the top, we have interesting stories. Terrorists ambush troops, killed 9 soldiers, policemen in Kebbi. You find that in page 9. Middle East crisis, US-Iran offer counter proposal to achieve ceasefire. You find that in page 8. We hope these ceasefires come to life. Now we also have South Africa target Nigeria, others call for stricter border control. You find that in page 6 as well of the Vanguard newspaper. Still on the Vanguard, court nullifies CBN's takeover of Union Bank, says regulatory acted beyond power. We find that in page 9. Now let's go straight to our next newspaper platform, which is the Nigeria Tribune. On the Nigeria Tribune, highlighted stories, interesting stories as well, which it contains. PDP crisis, Turaki Wike group of 10 stands. Take that again. PDP crisis, Turaki Wike group softens stance. Find that in page 3 of that newspaper platform. It also said, we have broken the ice. Turaki says convention would prevent reconciliation, coming from Wike. Wow, I think it's a good one by the PDP. Consumers' products must be labeled in English. FCC PCs warns manufacturers. You find that in page 5 of that newspaper. Court orders final forfeiture of $1.3 million linked to Achimogo's company to federal government. You find that in page 2 of the Nigeria Tribune. Still on the Nigeria Tribune, court nullifies CBN's Union Bank takeover, orders restatement of former board. You find that in page 2 as well of that newspaper platform. Still on the Nigeria Tribune, FG demands OPL 245 settlements, accuses critics of misrepresentation. You find that in page 2 as well of the Nigeria Tribune. Now still on the Nigeria Tribune, ADC World Congresses holds April 7, convention April 14th. Find that in page 3. Rising fuel price, Petron, federal government to elevate hardship of Nigerians. You find that in page 6. We hope this comes to life because the Hague has really been critical in the country ever since. Now let's go straight to the Daily Sun. On the Daily Sun, we have interesting and highlighted stories as well. Mark mocks APC, says ruling party can't address national crisis. You find that in page 6. Yes, Mark, the current chairman of the ADC coalition, says ruling party can't address national crisis. Now still on that, hope rises for PDP as Turaki Wike man moved to end fuel. FCT minister dismisses split rumors, insists there is only one party, no faction. That is an interesting one once again. Now you find that in page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Pope urged Christian Muslim to pursue mutual understanding for common goal. You find that in page 8 of that newspaper platform. Still on the Bandits, OPL 245, federal government tackles article orders. You find that in page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Still on the Daily Sun, court orders final forfeiture of $13 million linked to Aisha Achimogos in CBN account. You find that in page 5. Southeast South, APC elect Orogiado Giadom as zonal chairman. You find that in page 29 of that newspaper platform. Now going straight to the Punch newspaper. On the Punch newspaper, we have interesting and highlighted stories as well, such as Akume Ali Fuad pushes Benue APC to breaking point. You find that in page 3 of the Punch. Now the highlighted stories, PDP faction open peace talk as Wike denies splits. You find that in page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Still on the Punch, on the Bandits, Kebbi attack, government kill 10 security officers. That you will find in page 18. 24-year-old Nigeria jailed for life in UK. Yes, recently, where he killed his white lover in the United Kingdom, and now he has been sentenced to life in the United Kingdom as well. You find that stories in page 5. If you want to get more of that stories, go get your Punch newspaper, which is very tragic. UK leads as Nigeria capital importation hits $6.4 billion. You find that in page 10 of the Punch as well. On the top, we have APC set stage for Saturday convention with zonal elections. You find that in page 7 of the Punch. Now, court upholds 13 million forfeiture tied to Achimogo. You find that in page 18 of the Punch as well. Now, on the final talk on the Punch, which is our final for today, US-Iran war FG reopens for import. Dangote reels for FX losses. You find that in page 2 of the Punch newspaper. If you want to get more and more of these stories and headlines, go get your newspaper platforms and get all full details of these highlighted stories. Many thanks for being with me, and many thanks for watching. Till I come your way next time, I am King Sojalo. It's a bye for now.